It just kind of hits home.
First responders have felt the emotional aftershock of the 9/11 attack. So today they decided to honor their brothers and sisters who didn't make it out.
They say the effort is impossible to match, but they want to remember the sacrifice one step at a time. WCI3's Anna Carrera has the story.
When firefighters get dressed for the job, they know they need to be ready for anything. But no one could have imagined what would happen one morning 14 years ago.
Just been shock and awe along with everybody else.
I was in Jim Hammer's, I believe it was American history class, and that's where I stayed for the day.
That day is now part of our American history.
3,000 hearts that were taken abruptly.
It's something these first responders won't ever forget.
The 25 to 30,000 people were saved that day because of those brave men and women. Everyone looks at it as a tragedy when honestly it should be looked at as one of the biggest rescues in fire department history.
At this ceremony, memories of the World Trade Center are close enough to touch, which make the whole situation that much more real.
You kind of think about where that piece was and what it came from in that day, and it's not just a piece of metal like it looks like.
To honor the fallen firefighters, these guys made a trip they haven't tried before.
I don't know how they did it, carrying hoses, extra bottles, extra packs when they went up, and it's so much added weight. They had to be exhausted by the time they got up to where they were going.
These firefighters are carrying about 50 pounds of gear as they go up and down these flights of stairs, but there's a lot more weight than that they're carrying with them.
They're doing the climb, they're hearing the same things those guys heard that day.
Wired through their radios, the same transmissions those first responders heard. So as they climbed, they heard stories of the men and women who risked their lives, including the 343 who lost them.
Brian Hickey's captain of Rescue 4.
This guy pushed on farther than what I ever could have done.
Kevin Donnelly, he's the lieutenant from Ladder 3.
It must have been a big deal. I've heard him on the radio his name on the radio a couple times.
Climbing 110 floors worth of stairs was tough work, for the oldest down on to the younger ones.
See, I was sweating in there. A lot sweating.
Why were you sweating?
I was climbing the stairs a long time.
But they say it was worth it to keep the memory alive.
The big saying is we'll never forget, and this is kind of our step to put in to say we'll never forget those guys that lost their lives that day.
Now, community members from Missouri, Indiana, and here in Illinois also ran up and down the flights of stairs. They raised money for the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation.